Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Elevating Your Life. I am so happy today to share a previous guest, a dear friend of mine. He is just so amazing. And I want to have him on the show to share some new updates with him and have him just talk about all the wonderful things he's doing. Today we have with us Michael Andre Ford. He is an American angel intuitive who removes the veil so you hear and see angels, Mary, Sai Baba, Buddha, and other loving figures, including passed over loved ones and pets. Get answers, hugs, and more. And that is so true. Connecting with Michael is amazing. And now he even has an amazing YouTube show, Angels, Positivity, and Love. So first off, welcome, Michael. It's so great to have you on the show again.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you for having me back on.
Oh, I'm just excited to, and I'm excited to have you share all the new wonderful things going on. Well, if you want to share a bit more of your background, go ahead. And then I'd love you to begin with this great YouTube show that you have now.
Thank you very much. Well, look, it's going to sound like a lot, actually meeting angels and seeing angels, being able to get any answers for any questions, all languages spoken, all dialects, and there are photos of angels. You don't just see directly, you can start baby steps. So this is a lot to grasp. Luckily, it's just about being here and not worrying about the details. So trust that you've already got it all. It's basic listening, like running into a friend at the supermarket. And when you're hanging on every word, it's basic feeling, just getting a hug. Yeah, it's going to be out of thin air, or you're using a photograph of an angel or seeing directly. And it's going to sound like a lot to meet passed over relatives. But if you think about your own intuition the last however many years, decades, what do you think a quarter of it to half of it has been? You're getting help. It would just be weird if Aunt Martha came in and it was her voice and you're in the middle of a sports practice. You'd probably shank the ball if you're on the golf course hearing your aunt come in. It's better it's your own voice. So you're getting love and support all the time. And that's what this is really about. Slowing down just enough to breathe more, be more, smile more, and be in the moment. Plus, get any help for any topics.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. And I have personally experienced time with you and experienced, oh my gosh, the messages, what you feel, what you smell, what you see. It is just so fantastic. I love it. When I spend time with you, Michael, I have a smile on my face all day. It's like I'm lifted up. And as we were talking before we began the recording, we were discussing some things, and oh my gosh, angel arms, angel wings were just around me. It's just amazing, our angels, and how they are always out there, and they're with us, aren't they, all the time?
And so this is really about no limits. It's also about what will you simply allow for. So I get it if you're skeptical or you can't allow for angels to exist, or it's the opposite. You've had enough experience in life, you know something's up. There's too much synchronicity and too much of this, or you've had direct experiences. It doesn't really matter where you are on the curve. This is a personal experience for each person. What will you allow for? You're good wherever you are, whatever you're about, whatever you're going to allow for. I'll just remind you that there's a great phrase that angels gave, and it's in the little book that's on Amazon for less than $5. You can be happy now in this very moment for no reason whatsoever. Now, that doesn't really have to do with angels. It's can you smile and laugh for no reason? Can you breathe? Can you just do a jig in the supermarket? Can you hug your dog when you come home and not be glued to the cell phone, whichever way? And the long story short on this is we all do a lot of thinking. Welcome to the rat race. It's not global warming or corporations and everything. It's how we're spending our energy. And I'm not trying to say we're supposed to get rid of thinking or suddenly be happy 24/7. 7% less thinking a week or day is absolutely the max that's in store, unless you're one of those rare exceptions. You're like, no, I can do 10%. But so just a little less thinking, a little less seriousness, a little less taking yourself or the situations or your reality or what my problem is, my drama is, this person's about, this organization's about, taking that a little less seriously and being in your heart. And that's the rub. So if you're already kind of like up in the air elbows out and you want to get into that, and you think there's difficulty with that, that's the first thing to allow for. A little more self-love, a little more love. I will do one more quick like proposition, that love is the fabric of the universe. It's a constant. Think about, let's say you fall in love every 5 years. Okay, you're not married, but you're just falling in love every 5 years, and then the relationship ends. You know what that's like. Or in the middle of sports, you've scored 5 goals in a row, you're in the zone, you're Pele for a moment. You're on cloud 9. That feeling, that vibe is a constant. It's only thinking and all the drama, and you got into a car wreck, or somebody hit you, or this happened, or you watch the news, that pulls you out of that constant. So that's really a crazy perspective, because that means you can be happier at least 5% of the week more. We haven't even talked about angels yet. So now imagine what happens if you, because they don't want to interfere. The view is you're getting everything just the way you've kind of set it up, whether you know it or not. You're spending energy all the time and it's rippling back. And they call it law of attraction, manifesting, all these stuff. It doesn't matter what you call it. When you spend your energy, you're responsible for it, whether you know it or not. And it's not as big a deal. Like, don't beat yourself up over this. But what will you allow for? Can you allow for more? And if you want, you're already kind of doing a one-way dialogue with the universe. Just recognize what it means when you're thinking, when you're up here, which generally is negativity to neutrality. If the thinking's really good, it's down here. So that's when you're creative, or you come up with the idea for the whatever, or you dreamed up the vacation. Then you're one with all. So when you're one with all, you're one with the soccer ball, you're creative. That's when you get the book idea. You think of that friend, you remember their birthday in time, you make their day. That's all the little charms of life. And so that's all I'm suggesting, is start practicing the little stuff more. Gratitude, appreciation, slowing down. And when you think you're done slowing down, slow down 10 times more. You're never done slowing down. If that's all you did, you do great. And if you did talk to angels and you only asked one question, just be like, hey, what do I need to know next? What's up next? What do I do next? You'd knock the ball out of the park every time.
Oh, I love that. Yes, yes. And I love you talking about what we really have as a constant. And really, we can go into that. We can be there. And just giving that a little more time can make a big difference, can it?
You knew it as a kid, and you knew it any of your hobbies or actual career stuff where you're just on fire. You're excited, you're in love. It could be romance novels. It could be just yoga. When you're cooking, when you're dancing, when you're singing, just doing finger painting with your grandson. It could be anything where you're in the zone, in the moment, in the flow. I think they call it performance flow, or flow performance in the sports industry. But every industry, there's a moment of that. And what I think artists forget, or soccer players forget, or good salespeople forget, is that all moments can be the same. It's not compartmentalized. It's not just about the workplace. It's why the perfectionist tendencies of sports athletes. You're a gymnast from East Germany who 20 years did the same routine and got the gold, but you didn't learn how to live and be in the heart. You didn't recognize that when you're in the heart, you can be master of all areas, and that you're bringing everything into one, because it's just, you're running your life through your heart. Now, when I say heart, you don't have to freak out about this. It's not like you're not connected fully. You just kind of forgot. You had it as a kid or a teenager, or when you're in your 20s. You haven't lost a stride. Now, that's a real stretch for most of us, because you're like, whoa, what about my 5 car wrecks, my bankruptcy, my business failed, I got divorced twice, 4 times. And so we take on a lot of the rippling. And that's why so many of those healers out there are great for helping you just to let go what doesn't serve anymore. Once you kind of shed the details, the drama, the life story that you're the one feeding, that you think happened to you, then you're kind of ready to get going, like living again. You have a unique life path. And I would just suggest, if anybody wants to pay attention, there's a breadcrumb trail. When you're thinking up top, you can spot your thinking. You're not your thoughts. I think Dan Millman says that in his book, Way of the Peaceful Warrior. You're not your thinking in the slightest. Feel what you feel. Don't judge. I'm not here to try to change anybody's life story or foist anything on them. But the second you just separate a little bit, like what Byron Katie does for you, that amazing expert out there, self-help, spiritual a little bit, she helps you separate from your thinking, so that no matter what you thought was absolutely true, she kind of shows you maybe there's some breathing space in there. Take a rest on the energy. And so you can experience more love in the moment, more peace, more fun, more laughter. And you can start to grow that authentic you, the bigger you, and connect more to everything that's within and around you.
Yeah. So would you say it's like, let go of some of that thinking, release that layer, the mind chatter, and just kind of settle, relax, and feel the moment and feel that love, that contentment. It'll be there.
Yeah, mindfulness will get you there. Meditation, yoga, just reading, just even having a small practice. Sitting in your yard, sitting on some grass, touching a tree. There's a million ways to get to your heart. Could be going to a comedy club. That's been coming up a lot lately. If you're laughing, you're letting go. So it's trust more, allow more, that there's something bigger than you're thinking. Because as an adult, especially certain careers, industries, certain people, you get locked into that suit of armor. You think life's a certain way. I've seen it when I was on Wall Street for a few years in the early 90s. You know, or at a police department wearing the uniform. A lot of heaviness comes with that. You think life is only a certain way, and it's always bigger. It will always surprise you. And sometimes it does take the car wreck, divorce, an accident, a health crisis to pop you out of what you know to get you living again. It's up to you to figure out how to appreciate this, to tap into your own abundance, into the general abundance around you and in you. It's up to you to do the Star Wars thing and be your own Jedi. But the basic tenet of all this is there's something called thinking or unconsciousness, or there's a million ways to describe up here. Every self-help expert, woo-woo, spiritual expert, cultural, philosophical, and religious group there's 1,000 ways to say resistance, structure, rat race. And then there's gentleness, kindness, finger painting, love, no limits, no limits. Yeah. But so call it awareness. And Plato once said, awareness is empowering. Everything that's of import happens when you're here. When you wrote the book and you got that chapter done well, or you did the whole thing, hugging a dog, enjoying your moment, laughing, seeing a sunset, going for a walk. So it's practicing here, little less here. You're still going to do it no matter what. I do tons of thinking. Hopefully catch it. Hopefully I'm improving. Who knows? I mean, welcome to being human. But just allow more, and then let the universe figure out the how. Set your sights. I love vision boards now. I'm in the middle of working on one day for Maui. So a place in Maui. I've already been told a pier in sight, but up on a hill, so above the tidal wave level, but within sight of a pier. So basically water, and one day. So I'm working hard on a vision board on that, and I'm very excited. So set your sights, dream it big, dream big, and then let the universe and your own flow bring it forward. Start small if you want. Just go for little things.
Yeah. And we all individually would just say, have our little things that just really make us happy and make us feel so good. It can be sitting in nature, taking a walk, or listening to your favorite music, or making muffins, or doing the finger painting. And it's wonderful. There's really endless little things like that, isn't there?
Yes. And now let's go the other direction, back to sort of where we started the show. You can see angels in full-on human form. And I mean, they're opening the door for you to a coffee shop, sparkly eyes, saying just what you were saying that morning, the day before. You invited that in. You can see them in more just like that, but more popping in on your backyard or a football field away, with or without wings. I try to make sure you do both. If your twin sister and you are getting along, you've each owned it individually. Think the game show, but we don't need soundproof booths. Just do it on your own. The other person that you like does it on their own. You can do it together. I'm truly off the hook. Plus, I have photos of angels. I used to hand the camera to folks. They take photos. And there's photos of fairies, Play-Doh. You get hugs. It's, again, you learn to just trust the interacting. And it would be like a good movie where you're getting goosebumps, you're laughing, you're crying. Not too much crying. But where you're still thinking about it later because it carried with you. And you feel lighter. It's not going to necessarily be a Disney movie, but I like Disney metaphors because they're usually very light. You feel good for a while afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, Michael, I love it. Thank you so much. I would love you to share some information about your YouTube show, Angels, Positivity, and Love. Tell us about that and what we can experience and see when we tune into that. Oh,
May 7th, someone we all know will be a guest. Thank you so much, Paula, for being on. You'll be my 16th episode. It's a weekly coming out on Sundays, but it's at YouTube. It's just my full name, Michael Andre Ford. So at Michael Andre Ford at YouTube, or just look up Angels, Positivity, and Love and Ford. You'll see the show. There's no time limit, but amazing guests come on. They've already met angels with me. They've already seen, gotten their answers, finally gotten comfortable. This is a lot for all of us to accept. So don't worry about wherever you're at. Either you're like, yeah, I've had a couple near-death experiences. It shouldn't take that to allow for this. But no matter where you are in the accepting of this, don't even try. I tried to grasp angels for 2 years and I got this far. I finally just had to settle for they exist, trust that it's so, your answers and more will come. Get out of your own way is what this is all about. Now, the show, I think the channel's already had 35,000, 37,000 views. The subscribers have more than doubled, and a lot, I mean, 500 hours of content, at least 400 hours in the last 5 weeks of content viewed. So that's exciting. And there's something called YouTube Shorts. I've been practicing those, about to record some more this afternoon. So the expert comes on, they share some select life experiences, an international ballerina who was with the Berlin State Opera, a 50-year mindfulness expert who's taught at Omega, tons of healers, tons of show hosts themselves, fantastic shows. So I'm very excited to have Paula on. They get to tell their own story, but also then talk about their experiences. Then they get to do a little on the show. So if anybody feels like they need a shot of confidence, that's the show for you. Check out the photos. Either it's on social media, the photos that we may show in a little bit, or on the show, but you'll have a chance to maybe put your hand up to the screen and feel the energy through 2 screens. So there's a photo of an angel, you put your hand up, and you can maybe even do that on this show, wherever you are in the world. And it doesn't matter that it's 2 years in the future. Einstein talked about how time and space, it's relative. You know it's relative, whether you were a student at a university, the professor was boring or exciting. And that 1-hour class either felt like 15 minutes, it just went by like that, or a vacation, it went by like that. But maybe the year later, same vacation, same place, same Caribbean island, the 2 weeks suddenly felt like 2 months. Time slowed down. The professor was so interesting, it stretched out. And so time, we know a little bit, can morph. That's all this is, because I'll blow sage smoke. I'll take a feather, light some sage, and blow smoke through the screen. I did that on 20 shows last year with hosts, producers, and audience people all over the world, even months later, catching the energy of it. So if the brain's got to grasp something, just picture energy. You do energy, the energy of the sage lit, and angels help make a lot of this stuff happen. I think we were talking sports before the show. I was mentioning a 7.5-mile run, North San Antonio's hilly, it's hot, it's humid, it's summer. I had no business in the heat running 7.5 miles, and I got some help. And I had another person do my listening for me. We're all human. We don't want to necessarily do our own. And the answer was 70% of the effort was actually angels helping out. Think of yourself as a ball of light. You ask for help, and if it's gardening or some other activity, you can ask for a little bit of assistance.
Yes. And they'll be there for us. The assistance will come, won't it?
Yes.
And
ask for hugs, ask for answers, ask for help. If you're shy and you're like, well, I don't know how to listen, which is totally not true in one sense. I'm not trying to hammer anybody watching this, but you're totally good at listening. It's basic listening. But if you're shy about it, just ask for some signs. Go for baby steps. Ask for a good vibe. Ask for a beautiful dream time sleep. Make sure you make the request 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night before bed. Take a slower extra 10 minutes to put some steps in. Maybe read a book, get away from the devices, soft music. Those videos on YouTube with the oceans and the waves and all that stuff, the meditative stuff, do a little bit of that to buy yourself some breathing room emotionally.
And ask for dream time sleep. That's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah, it's a little more indirect, but you can have it full on direct, full on seeing, chatting 2-way that way. Use the photographs. You don't need a photograph. The photographs, a static historical photograph of Audrey Hepburn, can wink, smile, nod, shoulder waggle. She's an angel. Sai Baba, the one from 110 years ago, same deal. So, and we all know photographs shouldn't be able to move. So what's great is you get an introduction to your own ego. Your ego, your thinking, your resistance, your structure says, I didn't just see her wink, but your heart rejoices and says, oh my God, that was the prettiest smile. I got a smile from Audrey Hepburn. So welcome to being human. Welcome to the resistance. We all know the resistance from our sports fan days. We don't like the New York Jets, but we like the Patriots or the Seattle Seahawks or the whatever. And, we know what we know, but guess what? It changes all the time. And we love resisting change, and we love resisting what the universe is trying to show us, because we're actually here beyond the career, beyond the muckety muck of bill paying, which we've all got to do. We're here for something bigger, which is simply to learn how to love more and allow more in the moment, whether it's self-love first so we can do better love elsewhere. And it can be just waving to a stranger the little things in life that make a difference. It is slowing down overall. And we all get up in the head for so long that weeks, months, years, decades. I mean, we can go decades without truly living. And I'm so sorry to say that. I'm sure I've done that. Everyone's done it, at least for months and years. We get stuck. Welcome to being human. Welcome to being up here for too long.
Yes, we're human. And yeah, we can get stuck. And what's wonderful, I believe, Michael, is change is wonderful. You know, I personally, I don't want to be stuck. I want to change. I want to feel and grow and experience, you know, and create new moments, new memories.
Learning never stops, and Angel said
Yes.
that. And it's continual growth and expansion that's offered to us, that if you believe in past lives, you've signed up for something special. As soon as you can figure out the difference between thinking and awareness, or unconditional love, consciousness, there's a global slipstream of consciousness, joy, enthusiasm, the spark of life, the little things. And then there's, unconsciousness that we all participate in. As soon as you figure out the difference, then you'd have to be crazy to consciously choose more of negativity. And so it's still what we do. It's not in the cards for humanity to let go of thinking, but it is in the cards to just be a little gentler, a little kinder, have a little more fun, a little more zip in your step. So start asking now, whatever way is good for you. You only want to do it one way and trust that you're heard? Fantastic. You have to know that the universe by far is bigger than you're thinking, at the very least. It's so big. And we've seen so many stories and heard so much from others. And what I do is, again, I bring you a photo of a fairy, a photo of an angel. Very quickly, you're seeing light around you. You can see butterflies made out of angel light around you. You can see full on. You can have your relatives come in. That'll soften the blow over angels. Angels, I always do angels first. But if you've talked with angels and I've lost both parents. Hundreds of people have met my mom and dad. And so it's wonderful. They're reconciled. They're cute. They're in their 20s. They're sparkly. They're absolutely just wonderful. And hundreds of people have met them. They give great advice. But I'd have to just say, here's their photo to show them. That's Michael Andre Ford Sr. And there's Barb. Now, my dad passed in 1970 when I was 2. It was his time to go when I was 26. And my mom passed when I was turning 23. But hundreds of people have seen them if you're at a Target. You can, you'll want, the more scared you are, the more you'll want to be 200, 300 feet away when you look, and you'll see them waving. You can chat. Same thing for angels, Plato, Einstein, Mother Teresa, Gandhi. If you're India, then it's India figures. Native American chiefs, Catholic, then it's, Mary, Jesus, St. Francis, Michael, Gabriel. Angels are a blast, tons of humor, no privacy for you. They just know what to say. So forget languages, whether it's Hindi, Telugu, Japanese. They also know how to navigate you. 7-8 billion people now with 40 trillion thought forms at any one moment. That's a lot of resistance, a lot of knowing that precludes possibility. So they also got to weave through everything to say it just the right way, because think of it this way. I could grab 3 best friends who are all New England Patriots fans, but one of them's focused on running backs, one of them's focused on the quarterback, and one's focused on the wide receivers, and they don't agree on anything on the team. And so they all need to hear it a different way, why, whatever. And so we're all that way. We've got such a unique identity, individualism, that not having privacy, you're not getting judged. It's just pure love. You simply have to state your intent. So my only advice for anybody out there is, before bed, during the day, just talk to angels one way. You don't need a photograph. You don't need to see. Just be like, hey, angels, get me out of my head, into my heart. Help me out. Finish the rest of the sentence. Own it with a thank you, Om Saram, amen, whatever way is your way. You have to own your own requests, and you have to do the backing up, allowing a little bit of space so they can come in and do the work. Like, look around a little bit. It might be 12 trucks going by at the stoplight for 12 weeks. They kept sending a furniture truck by with the message you've been asking for. Yeah, it's like Eat, Pray, Love, the story of the guy who goes to the fountain. He's crying for a year straight. This is, I think, in the book, Eat, Pray, Love, Elizabeth Gilbert's book. He cries every night. He goes to this famous fountain in the center of town, and he cries to the statue. Maybe it's a saint. And he says, how come I'm not winning the lottery? I'm not winning. day after day after day until finally the statue comes alive and says, will you just buy a lotto ticket? And that's kind of all of
Oh
us.
my goodness.
We're so far up here that we've
Yeah.
forgotten what it's about and how to just
The
get to
basics.
here. Yeah, and that's why a good business person, a good artist, a good sports person, they've figured it out at least in a certain quadrant, but they might not apply it to all quadrants of their life. And that's all. It's really simple. Breathe more, allow more, smile more, and bring in some extra help.
Oh, Michael, oh my gosh, you are just so fantastic and such a gift to all of us. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. Before we say goodbye, please share with everybody your website and tell them a little bit about your book, and we'll just have to get together again. I know.
Yeah, my website's got it all. It's Michael Andre Ford, Michael, Andre like the champagne, Ford like the car.com. And my little book, Listening to Angels, is a 15-minute read. It's $4.99 at Amazon. Now, 3-time New York Times bestseller Anita Morjani, who's had such fantastic books out there, she was so kind to do a review of the book, and a nice review. It'll be 10 years old, the book, next year, so I'm hoping to revamp it a little and put Anita's thing at the forefront of the book. And I'm hoping to get a few more book reviews out there. But it's a 15-minute read. It's actually written by angels. I just typed, and it's gentle language, nothing. I mean, unconditional love, compassion are the most complicated words. Again, michaelandreford.com. The website at YouTube is just, the channel at YouTube is just at Michael Andre Ford. And that's Angels, Positivity, and Love.
Oh, I love it. And I'm so excited to watch more shows, Michael. They're so amazing. With about 2 minutes left, what last message do you want to leave with everybody today, Michael?
Well, ignore everything I've said. How are you rolling? Look again at what would you allow for more? Do you want change? What area would be fun? What feels good? Esther Hicks talks about it. Lots of other self-help spiritual experts talk about it. What feels good? Where would you like to be? And start imagining it more. And then put it out to your cheerleading squad. You have an amazing cheerleading squad, angels, guides, passed over family members you haven't even met that are 5 generations back, that are your biggest cheerleaders. So it's not just about sports, high school, getting married, the love of your life, all the above, but any little things, big things. Practice gratitude by dropping out of that thinking slipstream, the resistance, technically 1% of 1% negativity. Get out of here. That's just creating bricks that make walls that restrict you. Freedom happens when all that thinking and the bricks are removed. It's not really the external situation that you think is making you unhappy. It's really how are you flowing your energy. So learn to own it more. 4,000 times getting here, smiling more, breathing more, relaxing more. And guess what? You're teaching all of us on her show a year from now.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, that is just beautiful. Oh, such great inspiration and information, Michael. I'm just so grateful for all you do and all the lives you affect. I know myself, knowing you and spending time with you, what you've helped me to feel and see, and the messages, it's beyond words. It really is.
Well, Paula, we all owe you a thank you for embodying love and truly living what gets talked about here on the show.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I am so grateful. Everyone out there, thank you for joining us. If you are listening on KMET AM radio, you can watch the podcast on KME TV. And you can find all the links on my website, wellnessinspired.com. And thank you for joining us. Love, hugs, and blessings. Michael, love, hugs, and blessings. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.